check out verse 1. The hand of the Lord was on me, and he brought me out by the Spirit of the Lord and set me in the middle of a valley. It was full of bones. So this takes place about 500 years before Jesus. And a big nation has came up and overran Israel. They took all the leaders, the educated people, and they got rid of them, leaving the uneducated working people as slaves. So we're talking about the Babylonians overruling Israel. Ezekiel 37 is about at the 50-year mark of Israel's oppression. And this oppression lasts 70 years. So we're in the valley of the dry bones. He led me back and forth among them, and I saw a great many bones on the floor of the valley, bones that were very dry. And he asked me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I said, Sovereign Lord, you alone know. So the valley of dry bones. I've been there, and it sure feels like I'm in one of those right now. And the question is, how did I get here, and how am I going to get out? I've tried. I've been swinging and missing, and I ain't broke, but I sure need fixing. I don't know what your all's valley is. I just know what mine. Maybe you got into a valley because of the loss of a dear friend or family member. Maybe it's a disease. And a valley could last 3 days, 3 months, or 3 years. Israel is at a place of breaking, a point of breaking. Every day they work very, very hard, only to have what they've worked for all day taken away and just a little amount of food to survive to the next day. Then he said to me, Prophesy to those bones and say to them, Dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says to these bones. I will make breath enter you, and you will come to life. I will attach tendons to you and make flesh come upon you and cover you with skin. I will put breath in you, and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am the Lord. So I prophesied as commanded, and as I was prophesying, there was noises. As I was prophesying, there was a noise, a rattling sound, and the bones came together, bone to bone. I looked, and tendons and flesh appeared on them, skin covered them, but there was no breath in them. Then he said to me, Prophesy to the breath. Prophesy, Son of man, and say to it, This slain. This is what Sovereign Lord says. Come, breathe from the four winds, and breathe into these slain, that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and breathed into them, and they came to life and stood up on their feet, a vast army. Then he said to me, Son of man, these bones are the people of Israel. They say our bones are dried up and our hope is gone. We're cut off. Therefore, prophesy and say to them, this is what the sovereign Lord says, my people, I am going to open your graves and bring you up out from them. I will bring you back to the land of Israel. And then you, my people, will know that I am the Lord when I open your graves and bring you up from them. I will put my spirit in you and you will live, and I will settle down. I will settle you in your own land. Then you will know that I am the Lord. The Lord has spoken, and I have done it, declares the Lord. So, the valley of the dry bones is not a physical place. It has no address. I mean it. It is a vision that God gave and this could be me and it could be you. Ezekiel is walking back and forth across the valley of the dry bones because God wanted Ezekiel to see every inch of it. And sometimes when we're in our valley, we feel alone and we feel cut off from God. But Ezekiel cries out to the Lord and says, You, Lord, only know. And only the Lord can get us out of our valley. Then he prophesied again, and the four winds from north, south, east, and west came and put breath into these bones. I like to picture walking through the valley, tripping on these bones, accidentally kicking a skull across the valley, slip on a femur bone and go down into the bones. But how do you picture this valley that we're talking about? See, the four winds blew, and those bones go from rattling to breathing. Israel's crying out. They're saying, our hope is gone. Our bones are dried up. And when you're in your valley, we sometimes think our hope is gone. But I want you to notice who was with Ezekiel in the valley. He wasn't alone. God was with him all the while. And we're no different. If we hang on to God, we have hope and we have help to get out of the valleys of this life. Ezekiel was standing in nothing but death all around him. But God had a plan. God had a purpose. And then we want to hit on the Spirit. The Spirit, if we have it within us, dwelling within us, will lead us out. When all looks impossible, if we have God with us, all things become possible. We won't stay in our valley. If we give it over to God, He will make us new. new breath, new life. The Israelites, 20 years later, are walking to Jerusalem, and they say, what was once ruined and in rubble is now anew. Hope is not gone, my friends. If we are clinging to God, He will make old things new again.
Amen.
God told Ezekiel to do it, and He did it to the very word. Are we doing what God is asking us to do? And if we ain't, we might just end up staying in the valley. And do you have the Spirit tonight? Do you have the Spirit of God within you? If not, then you need to get Him. Reference back to verse 1. God takes old and makes it brand new. Have you heard the bones rattling this evening? And have you felt the breath breathed into you? What was once ruined and rubble is now rebuilt and returned to Israel. So cry out to Jesus from your valley and allow Him to make you new. Amen.
Hey, one of the things you said that really stuck out to me was that he was in the valley and the Lord made him to see all of it. And that's not just like the chaos, but individual things. You know, like the snooze and the tendons joining, a body that had all this put together, but it was still dead. And it made me think of, sometimes we can fool ourselves by not seeing things through the way that Ezekiel was. He had to see that breath come into it to realize life was there. And I think for me, sometimes we get a little wind blowing. Man, we're already celebrating the victory we ain't ready to have yet. So it was a good word, bud.